what could you simplify? What could you remove out of the process that just doesn't add any value? Or what could you streamline or make better? And what is working that's generating outsized returns that you could double down on and do more of? Hi there, Josh here. Welcome to another episode of the Ignite podcast. Now today we're doing something or kicking off something kind of fun. So I've been working on something pretty interesting behind the scenes for the last couple of months now, and I'm really excited to and you'll start to see it being released over the next few weeks and the next few months, which is we've been working behind the scenes on what we're calling the 10 Commandments for consultancy business owners. So I've just spent a bunch of time sitting down going, if I was to create 10 commandments for consultancy business owners, for individuals to live by, to work by, to build their businesses by, out of the hundreds of business owners that we work with and all the things that we teach and do, if I could distill that down into 10, what would that be? So it's been a really interesting exercise and a really interesting, journey for me to kind of distill all the stuff that we teach our clients down into, what we're calling the 10 Commandments for consultancy business owners. So I've got the 10 Commandments, and what we're going to slowly do over the next couple of weeks and months is roll out each week a new commandment the next commandment in the 10 Commandments for consultancy business owners. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be kind of fun. It's nice to have a bit of a theme to the podcast and the channel for a bit. So yeah, that's kind of what we're doing. And what we're doing today is kicking off the first of these commandments. So the first commandment of the 10 Commandments for consultancy business owners is thou shalt keep it simple. So let's dive into it. Let's dive into this concept of keeping your business simple. And the reason this is number one is because I see so many business owners overcomplicating things. People making business way harder than it needs to be. And a really good example of this, and I'll talk about this a little bit further in the episode today, is this concept of generalist versus specialist. Like, business owners feel like if they're a generalist and they're all things to all people, and they offer services to the private sector, to local government, to state government, to the construction industry, that they're being smart and diversifying risk. And at a certain point in the business journey and business growth, it is smart to bring on different sources of income. But if we're being generalists, not specialists, we are making business way harder than it needs to be. Like, you think about what's required to build systems and processes and templates and ways to deliver projects for private sector, state government, local government, contractors, whoever else on there that you potentially are working with. Like, if you think about, really the customer journey mapping and looking at what's required to deliver projects for your clients in those areas, like, that's a lot of work. And we think as business owners, we think we're being smart by being generalists or making things complicated, but it's just making everything so much harder in our business, because we think that's what's required to grow a successful consultancy, is to add more stuff in. Whereas today I want to talk about keeping it simple, and actually sometimes it's about cutting stuff out, pulling things out that aren't actually working, and simplifying processes. And so that's kind of the first thing. So thou shalt keep it simple. There's a saying that we use with all of our boardroom members whenever we're talking about this kind of concept, which is simple scales, complex fails. When we keep business simple, we can see a path forward. When we make things confusing and complex and complicated, the path forward, we get confused, it gets overgrown, the path forward, we can't see the wood for the trees, and a confused mind says no. And so that feeds into your clients, that feeds into you as a business owner, it feeds into your team. When you're trying to do all these things and running around like a headless chook and trying to say yes to that client and say yes to that client and do this and do that, and let's just add all these extra things in, we're making our business way more complicated than it needs to be. And yes, in certain phases of the business, you're going to be trying new things and adding in an additional service offering or looking at ways to service your clients new, better, or different. But it's being really selective about when you add in those new things in your business, and not choosing to take on too many new initiatives in your business at once. Try 2 or 3 things, test it, measure it, Did it work? Yes, no, evaluate. Are we adding it into the business as a standard operating procedure or a thing that we're doing moving forward? Yes, no, great. Okay, cool. How are you all feeling as a team in a business? We want a couple of weeks or a month or 2 months to settle things down again, to get back to like a bit of a status quo or an even keel before we take on any new things. So the confused mind says no part's really, really important, because when you as a business owner, when you're confused, when you're not sure with which path to take, when you don't know where you're going, when you don't know what you're doing, all your staff and all your team are looking to you to go, well, what do we do next? And when you're confused and when you don't know, because you don't have a clear, simple plan and a path forward, they're all kind of going, oh my gosh, not even our captain knows where he or she's taking the ship, and that starts to breed, nervousness and insecurity within the team. So thou shalt keep it simple. It's like a mantra. It's a commandment. It's something that I want you to really think about in terms of your business. And this concept of simple scales complex fails. When you have a really simple business model and a really simple way of being able to deliver for your clients, when you've got a nice niche or a couple of niches in the marketplace, you're playing in those spaces really well, you've got a really clear, client generation, client acquisition, BD, fee proposal to delivery to project wrap up kind of process. When you've got a really clear process for your 1 or 2 market sectors that you play in, and you've got a team that get really good at delivering projects in those 1 or 2 market sectors, your business starts to hum. You've got a simple delivery mechanism, and I'm under no illusions that there's always, every project's unique and every project has something that comes up. But if you can get, your delivery down pat, your client acquisition down pat, and to a point where you can pretty much predict or have in your systems and processes 70 to 80% of how the project's going to run or how things are going to run, and leaving that leeway for that sort of 20% where stuff goes awry, where you do have to get in and put a bit more effort. But if you make a really simple business that your team can deliver really well, your clients know when stuff's going to come, you as a business owner can kind of start to step back and go, I'm actually not needed anymore because we've got a nice, simple business model here. That's the path to scaling and growing your business. I'll say that again. When you have a really simple business model that's easy, that's the path to growing and scaling your business. When you've got a complexity everywhere and everything's too hard and everything's like being done again for the first time because there's no systems and processes, or you're just pulling the fee proposal from the previous job to do on the next job, or you're just pulling the previous report from the last job to do on the next job, and you're just creating stuff from scratch all the time. That's complex. That's stressful. There's no profit in that. There's no fun in that. So thou shalt keep it simple. So if you want to grow your business and grow your consultancy, it's important that you start to simplify things first. And I talk to our board members a lot about the different phases of business in terms of growth. So growing, consolidation, where you're working things out, what's working, what's not. You're evaluating the new things that you tested. You're in the consolidation phase. Then you're in a growth phase. Then you're in a consolidation phase. Then you're in a growth phase. They are the phases of business. They've been tried and tested, and we went through that on our journey, and I think I've talked about that in past podcasts where, at different revenue levels, you get to certain plateaus where you've got to really rethink systems and processes and, hire more overhead kind of staff like general managers and more admin and all that sort of stuff as you kind of grow. But it's really important that at each phase of that growth, you're going, what is the simplest path here to us delivering work, nurturing our client relationships, nurturing the team, and looking at where things are complex and just going, we're going to remove that. We're going to cut that stuff out. So if you want to grow, it's important that you simplify things first, because otherwise your already complex business just becomes 1,000 times harder to run it as you try and grow it. So, a great business is about doing less, but better. And I'll say that again, a great business is about doing less, but better. So again, remove the generalist mindset, pick a couple of niche areas in the marketplace, become known as the go-to consultancy of choice in those areas. Look at your delivery mechanisms and the ways that you find clients and really simplify those down. Looking at ways to really simplify your delivery process for your clients, the project closeout, the whole sort of life cycle of your project. Just look at each part of that and how can I make that simpler. So a great business is about doing less but better. So it's not about adding more moving pieces in, but it's about removing what's not working and doubling down on what is working. So removing what's not working, and that's going to happen through the test and measuring phase, and then doubling down on the things that are, and then you grow from there. So, like the takeaway from today's episode, again, the concept, let's etch it into your brain. Thou shalt keep it simple. Have a look at your business now. Have a look at things that aren't working. Like, what could you simplify? What could you remove out of the process that just doesn't add any value? Or what could you streamline or make better? And what is working that's generating outsized returns that you could double down on and do more of? So that's kind of a nice takeaway from today's episode, to really think about what could you simplify, what could you remove and streamline, and what's working that you could double down on. So again, that's the first of the 10 commandments, thou shalt keep it simple. So again, like when things feel like they're getting complicated and hard, it's probably because they're getting complicated and hard. And just want you to think about the concept of, when we keep our business simple, that's the path forward. We can see a path forward to growth. So yeah, great business is about doing less but better. So I'll leave you with that. Okay, that's it. So that's the first of the 10. Stay tuned for the other 9 as they roll out over the coming weeks and months. So team, look, if you want to keep doing the whole business thing on your own, we have a ton of free resources to help you with that. YouTube, podcast, the website, tons of free giveaways and that sort of stuff to help you keep building your business on your own. But if you want some help, if you want to join an amazing community of like-minded business owners, all business owners of engineering, town planning, surveying and architecture consultancies, then I'd love to invite you to join our boardroom coaching program. So that's purely for business owners in our industry, all working together to help you grow your business smoother, faster, more efficiently. So if that's you, you'd like some help growing your business, please don't hesitate to reach out. Let's have a chat about how we can help you grow your business faster through Boardroom. Have an amazing day.